This stock is down nearly 60% within the last month after beating its EPS expectations by 85 cents per share. Although this chart looks a little dejecting, this is the kind of chart we love to see because we can make boatloads of money on it. In this video, I'll go over the real reason and the behind the scenes of why Mara sold off after the earnings. I'll explain how the recent Bitcoin correction affects Mara. I'll do a fast technical analysis on Mara, and I'll explain my thesis of why this stock will double. Let's do it. So first of all, let's go over the earnings that was released for Mara. On Monday, May 15th, Mara beat their earnings per share expectations by 85 cents per share. They were expected to have an EPS of 2 cents, but instead they had an EPS of 87 cents. Unfortunately though, everyone was devastated by the fact that Mara missed on their revenue expectations. Their actual revenue was $9.15 million, which was a miss from expectations by $2 million. Am I worried about this? Not at all. Even if their revenue was a miss, they beat their earnings by a tremendous amount. The recent earnings weren't all bad, and it definitely does not justify as much of a sell-off as Mara had. Beating earnings by 85 cents per share is a huge amount for this company, guys. Huge. Over a bit of time, especially if Bitcoin picks back up, I can see Mara becoming an absolute beast of a company. This brings me into my next part of the video. How does the recent sell-off of Bitcoin affect Mara? So obviously, we've previously talked about how Mara gets greater profit margins as the price of Bitcoin is higher. So by the same metric, Mara should have a reduced profit margin as they mine right now because Bitcoin is under $40,000. But that was no surprise. If you ask any major investor in Bitcoin, they will tell you that this recent sell-off was inevitable. Bitcoin has always been a volatile asset. It's bound to have a large correction at some point, and it's also pretty much bound to have another bullish run at some point. People that are saying that this is the end for Bitcoin and it's about to crash were probably also saying that the 5 previous times that Bitcoin sold off. Bitcoin will surely recover and run into new highs at some point in the future, and in my opinion, I think Mara will exist to see that. For this reason, I feel that Mara is minimally affected by this recent Bitcoin sell-off, especially if you view Mara as an investment over a several-year time frame. Also, most people think that Mara's price action is dependent on Bitcoin, but this isn't quite right. If you look at the charts, Mara hit highs when Bitcoin was selling off on April 5th. Similarly, Mara started selling off on April 14th long before Bitcoin did. This indicates to me that although Mara has some correlation to the price action of Bitcoin, it likes to trade by its own technicals as well. This brings me to my technical analysis of Mara. Mara trades by the moving averages perfectly, which is exactly what we like to see. On the 3-year chart, Mara found a recent support at $19 on the 50 EMA. On the 1-year chart, this same support was found on the 180 SMA. This is a really good sign and indicator that Mara found a definite support at the $19 mark and will likely continue its trajectory upwards from here. Also right now, the shorter term EMAs are crossing over the longer term EMAs, which is another bullish indicator. So finally, this brings me to my thesis on why Mara will double. Currently, Mara is trading nearly 60% down from its highs, so for Mara to double, it just has to reach its highs again. Also, Mara is one of those stocks that was not deeply affected by the retail stock correction. High growth retail stocks began correcting around February 12th, but Mara was unaffected at this time. In fact, Mara went on to hit highs on April 5th when the rest of the market was in the trash can. Along with this, Wall Street and the retail investors do not yet realize that Mara is a fast-growing company with a bright future ahead of it. They're shifting their management team around with a new CEO to help guide the company through the path of even greater success. Right now, Mara is just getting beat down hard because there's a lot of fear around cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin especially. But since we believe Bitcoin is here to stay, it's really hard for me to imagine a world where Mara is not trading near $60. If you want a more detailed analysis on Mara, check out my full depth video. Comment what stock you want me to cover next. Peace.